let's take a look at our top selections for Dan Illman, Mike Beer kicking off the 50-cent late pick 5 at Gulfstream Park on Saturday with race number 8, the Grade 3 La Prevoyante Stakes. Let's take a look at the field. We're going 1.5 miles on the turf for fillies and mares. Always shopping for Todd Pletcher. Comes off a win in the Via Borghese, going 1 mile and 3/16. She's run well in this distance in the past. She's got good tactical speed. Lots to like, except the price, perhaps.
Yeah, we'll see how short she goes. I do expect her to be favored in here, Dan, but I also feel like she's just way the horse to beat. That was a pretty impressive win last time.
Heavenly Curlin, the number 7, 9-2 on the morning line. This is a horse trying a turf for the first time since her career debut. She has some upside potential as a daughter of Curlin with only 5 starts to her name, and she would benefit if the pace is fast. Now, I'm not sure I agree with Timeform US's assessment of the pace. Red bar scenario going 1.5 miles. I just can't imagine Always Shopping getting caught up in a speed duel with Traipsing here. I think they're going to let Traipsing go, and I'm not sure they're going to go, extremely fast.
I agree wholeheartedly, Dan. I don't see these two horses going head-to-head early in this race. It sort of does feel like the Clement has settled on Traipsing just being a speed horse. I'll expect them to try to make the lead again. Always Shopping's not going to go and duel her early.
Always Shopping, a graded stakes winner on dirt. She won the Gazelle as a 3-year-old filly going 1.8 miles. She's really improved since Todd put the blinkers on, switched her back to turf in her last 3 races. Let's watch her prep. The Via Borghese, first start off of a 2-month layoff. She's on the outside right now, and she just gave her usual solid performance.
Yeah, I mean, just took a 3-wide tracking trip here. That's Traipsing, the 2 who was on the lead the entire way. Always Shopping was happy to sit off of her on the outside and just steamrolled her through the stretch. I mean, she was really impressive winning that race. She ran, I thought, really well in the Dowager going this distance, 1 start prior to that. There's just a lot to like about this horse, Dan. It feels like she's good already and she's getting better.
I think Sister Hanan's a lot better than she looks on paper, and she looks pretty good coming off wins in her last 2. I thought last year at Gulfstream, she was hinting at a lot of potential, couple of near misses, thought she ran well in the Honey Fox. Layoff maybe actually turned out to be a good thing for her. Let's watch her last race. Her first start since May, so this is about a 7-month layoff for Sister Hanan. She's in the red silks on the outside. She got a nice trip from Corey Lannery, the old in-out, and she's going to gut this out to dead heat for the win. The distance is the big question. They're stretching her way out for the first time, but this horse is okay.
Yeah, she is. The distance is a big question. This is a good effort from her, Dan, and I'm glad that she at least got the bob to dead heat there because that would have been a brutal loss for her. She had to give away the ground in there while the horse that she dead heated with just got the perfect split to get the jump on her in there, and this horse did well to run her down at the end. I don't know how far she wants to go, but I do know that her turf races are all pretty good.
Irony of Reality is another horse stretching way out. Has run well going 11 furlongs in the past against much weaker competition. Let's watch her last race at Tampa. They found a little handicap race for her on this day. She got a good pace set up. She's going to roll them down going 1 mile and 1/16. She's a solid horse. This is a big ass stepping up in class and distance, however.
Agreed. I didn't really see her being that competitive in here. She ran fine in this race that we're watching, but she's got to run a lot better than that.
Number 4, Aunt Hottie is another horse that's probably going to need to find something. 30-1 on the morning line, was entered for the $80,000 tag on dirt most recently. The recent turf start, she was beaten 22 lengths. Got to improve.
I guess they're just taking a shot in here.
Layoff here for Lovely Lucky for trainer Tommy Albertrani. I like the way this horse won at Saratoga 3 starts back. You always had the feeling when you stretched this one out in distance, she would improve. The Glens Falls, she ran into Civil Union, who ended up as one of the better filly and mare turfers in the country last year. And in the Flower Bowl last time out, she was probably overmatched, but she also went pretty fast on the lead.
Yeah, I don't have any argument with the idea of trying to put her on the lead in the Flower Bowl last time. The problem is she just had to go too fast to get there. And she actually didn't run that poorly. I thought her Glens Falls part of that was actually pretty good too. Those are good fields that she was running against. She's a very interesting horse in there. It feels like she can only get better, Dan, and she has the pedigree to really appreciate stretching out.
Cambaliza, the number 6, a little bit of a Jekyll and Hyde horse. You know, she's run some good races. That race at Keeneland was okay going 1.5 miles. I think you can make the argument 2 starts back that she did not care at all for the yielding going. She has never run well with given the ground. Last time out in the Via Borghese, maybe it was a situation where there wasn't enough pace for her, and if she gets a little bit, she can come with a kick. I do wonder if she was a bit exposed in that race, however, at this company.
Yeah, I don't want to knock her too hard off of her last two races. She's going to be a big price in this race. My problem with her is, even though she was close at this distance at Keeneland 3-back, I just don't like that race. I don't like the horse to beat her, and I just don't feel like that she ran that well in there.
Let's watch Heavenly Curlin's last race. The Grade 3 Maple Leaf going 1.25 miles at Woodbine. It was the first time she stretched out significantly in distance, and she handled it no problem for Mark Cassidy. I thought she got a good mid-pack trip, made a wide bid on the turn, about 4 paths wide to get to the front. She keeps going. Now, of course, this race on the Tapeta, she's going to have to prove herself on turf, but she does have some upside, and I think she'll stretch out even further.
I agree. Getting a lot better now. I mean, the only time they ran her on turf, she didn't pick up her feet, but that race feels like a distant memory now. It just seems like she's a lot better at this stage of the game, coming off 3 wins in a row. I guess she'll get this far. I mean, I feel like 9-2 is a terrible price to take on her, but maybe you'll do better.
Winless from 6 starts last year, the 8 Delta's Kingdom is a horse that can get close to the pace, and she had to work a little bit from an outside post to try to get forward in her most recent start, the Long Island, Mike. She ran in sort of a one-paced fashion at the end. I think that's kind of what she is, but at least she can get close to the pace, and she should be at least in the thick of things when they turn for home.
Right. I mean, she does have a lot to prove in here. I feel like she's actually okay, and I think the distance is okay for her as well. If nothing else, when you go back and watch the Long Island, I mean, I'm not making excuses for her in there, but she was sort of caught out there 3-4 wide the entire way. Muta Makina, who won the race, rode the rail. Traipsing, who was second, rode the rail. The horse who was fourth rode the rail. She was the only one who was outside the entire way.
Let's talk a little bit about Cap de Crias, 12-1 for Pletcher and Velasquez. Didn't have the easiest trip in the Via Borghese, but I've kind of thrown my hands up in the air with this one. Lots of seconds. She's found ways to lose races she probably should have won.
Agreed. I think the distance is okay for her, and I expect her to, make her typical run in this race. I just don't think it's going to be good enough.
Do you have an excuse for English Affairs' run in the Long Island? It was her first start off of a 2-month break. She kind of was one-paced, finishing 7th that day, but she's a horse that handles a little bit of give on the ground, and the distance is okay for her. I have to go all the way back to the 2018 Dowager. I thought she ran really well with trouble that day.
Agreed. I mean, the distance is good for her. She does, sort of feel like a horse who would appreciate some give in the ground. Probably isn't going to get that, but the distance certainly works to her advantage.
I think Traipsing will make the lead, as she's done in her last 3 races. I was disappointed she didn't seal the deal in the Long Island 2 starts back, going 1 mile 3/8. She had a clear lead in mid-stretch, and she was run down late by a rail skimmer. Last time out, we saw Always Shopping run right by her. Maybe at this additional distance, she can give more of a fight.
Yeah, maybe. I was actually more disappointed in her last race than I was in her Long Island. But either way, 2 races where she was pretty well loose on the lead both times and couldn't hold on at the end. I'm a fan of this horse. I've liked her right from the start. I still think she's pretty good. I guess she'll be on the lead again in this race. I'll use her, but I kind of wanted other horses this time.
Mike, I wonder if Court Return is lurking under the radar here for a very good trainer in Josie Carroll, because she ran into a sharp horse in Ride for the Cause, going a 1 turn 9 furlongs in the Canadian. She just missed behind a Chad Brown train runner in the E.P. Taylor. And then last time out in the Via Borghese, it was her first start off the layoff. She didn't run to par, but maybe she needed the race.
Maybe. She can certainly do better than that. We know that from her races up at Woodbine, and I do think the distance is okay for her as well. I don't love her running style. You know where she's going to be early, and it's at the back of the pack. We'll see if she gets enough pace to run into her, but she's better than that last race, I think.
Top pick time for the Grade 3 La Prevoyante. We kick off the 50-cent late pick 5. Have to deal with a layoff with Lovely Lucky. Don't think she needs to be on the lead. Think she has a lot of upside. I think the distance is going to be good for her. I think she has some ability.
I do too, and I just feel like she's going to be the right price in this race. I think she has forward to go. Maybe she can take the step forward in this race. I expect the 1 Always Shopping to be really tough to beat in here, Dan, but I'm going to take a little shot with this horse.
5, 1, 8, and 11 for Mike. 5, 7, 2, and 8 for me. It's the Grade 3 La Prevoyante on a tremendous afternoon of racing at Gulfstream Park. It's Pegasus World Cup Saturday. Best of luck.